Hello everyone.
Can't just play it, can it, without
there's
fuss
always
and
got to
error.
be something going on. How's everyone doing today? Hope you're all doing well. Bang on time today, Lou.
Pretty much.
Here we go. Bang on today. We are so organised today.
We've been not bad today, have we?
No, it's been a good day today, isn't it?
We had a late start.
Yeah, very late start. I've no idea if anyone can hear me because I've forgot to put my little monitor in front of me. So just let us all know if you can hear us. We would truly appreciate it. Can they hear us, Louise?
I'm waiting for the... Oh, Amco, thank you, Amco. You're both loud and clear. Brilliant.
Good. I'm glad about that. Good. Glad everyone's okay.
Good. Okay.
Oh dear, I put my glasses this week. I got a bit of sellotape over the arm of the to hold it in place. My favourite glasses.
Who was it? Jack Duckworth.
Yeah, Jack Duckworth.
Used to do that,
I've had these. I must have had these for about 8-10 years. I love these, but I'm just going to have to retire them now.
I'm sure you've got about 50 pairs of glasses.
But then the problem is I put them on the floor this morning. I stood on them. A lens popped out because I've creased the frame on that one now as well. So, oh dear, do you know what? I'm not the best when it comes to glasses. Good. Everyone is all okay. Good. Do we have anything to tell anybody today, Louise?
I don't think so.
Thank you for all the birthday wishes for my father.
Yeah.
He was 101 on Saturday, so congratulations to him. Thank you for
I was going to see if I could get a photo, but I can't because I forgot the lead.
I haven't got that. Yeah.
Perhaps if there's one, perhaps I can try and show it at the end.
Yeah. So yeah, my dad was 101. He's doing really well. He's got exercises to do. Physiotherapist came round. He's got exercises. He cocks his legs up in the air like this. He's like this, and he's doing squats like this.
His squats are brilliant. He's got his Zimmer, and he's going 1, 2. Slow down.
I know. Bloody 101. He'd show us up in the gym, wouldn't he?
Yeah. So funny.
But yeah,
he's amazing, isn't he?
He is good. So yeah, that's about it. Anything else happened? I don't think anything else has happened.
I don't think anything has really happened.
It's been a very busy week, but it's been an eventful week, hasn't it? In one respect. We had a lovely chap in on Saturday. No, Friday, doesn't it? Friday.
Oh, Friday. I know. I just absolutely love
Friday
clients like that.
Yes.
I love all our clients, but I just get really excited.
He wanted to get engaged on the Saturday and hadn't bought the ring. So we ended up showing him one of the nice lab diamonds that was loose, and we had the mount that was loose, and within a few hours we resized the ring, set the lab diamond, and he went off a happy chap, didn't he?
He had something in his mind he wanted. He didn't mind if it was lab or natural, explained all the pros and cons to him. He just knew he wanted a carat or over, and he wanted it there and then, that day. And
why did he want a carat or over?
I think it was because it was their second marriage and he wanted to better the
ex-husband. I love that.
Yes, I just thought that
was really good. He wanted to get a better engagement ring than her first husband. He was fabulous though,
wasn't he? He was just so funny and yeah.
So that was good. We really did enjoy that, which obviously then we prioritised that, which obviously then meant that certain jobs got left behind, so apologies for that.
Yeah, just an old romantic at heart, Andrew Berry, aren't you?
No, it was money. It was money, if I'm honest. It was money at the end of the day. I saw the money and I thought, you know what?
Well, it went on a bit too longer than it could have done because he wanted to see this ring in Cardiff, didn't he? So he said, I don't know what to do. So I showed him a couple of things and he was like, I really like them, but I don't know about this other one. I said, go and see the other one and then you'll know. Because you've got to... Otherwise you'll never know, will you? So I sent him into Cardiff because he was dithering a bit and then he came back and he said, no, I've made my mind up.
The one that you offered was better.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So that was really cool. That was about the only sort of thing that has really gone on. I
haven't seen a picture yet though, have I?
No.
Time to see a picture.
No, not yet. Good. I haven't got my monitor, so I can't even see what's going on. I can't even see anything at all today, so I'm going blind today.
Have we had adverts?
Have we had adverts?
I don't know. Anthony saying adverts. We shouldn't have had adverts in the stream.
Not in live, no.
No, I hope not. Let me know. Yeah.
So apologies if there's any adverts.
Okay.
Good. Shall we start?
Do you want some questions?
Yes. Shall we start? Okay. It is Monday, the 9th of October already. The nights are drawing in, but today is glorious sunshine and we're going to go out in the garden and have a drink or two, I'm sure.
Oh, that sounds delightful, Andrew. Nice. I will accept your kind invitation.
That would be lovely. So let's have a first question then, please, Louise.
I don't know what's going on with this computer.
All right.
Right. I'm going to have to go to this one. Alan, I hope your doggy is okay. Louise is setting a 6mm faceted stone.
Yep.
Which size drill bit do I need to use the drill? Do I use to drill all the way through the silver? I have the setting burrs.
A 6mm.
A 6mm faceted stone, yes.
So, and how thick was the metal?
How thick was the metal, Louise?
It doesn't matter, don't worry.
Yeah.
So, you don't want to go and have a drill that is going to be too thin because it's got to cut, I would have thought, 1 millimetre, 2 millimetres, 3 millimetres through the metal. Have it too thin, you're going to put a lot of wear on it, it's going to overheat. So something like, say you want to drill through 2 millimetre, 3 millimetre, I would go for a drill around about from 1.5 millimetres and up. What you, oh, give me my whiteboard behind me today, I'll go and get that now. What you don't want to do is to drill a too big a hole, because then if you need to move that hole at all, you can't. If you drill a small little hole, 1.5 millimetre, and perhaps it's just slightly off, when you come to use your burrs, you can just put the burr in and move the burr to one side so you can get the exact centre. So on a stone like that, a good 1.5, maximum 2 millimetre for that, and I think you should be fine. Little and often, don't put too much pressure on it, plenty of lubrication, and you should cut through it, no problem at all. And you can get my whiteboard. Yes, Louise.
Good. Okay, scrap over engineering. I had some old copper laying around from when I tried folding and hammering it. Yesterday I made some oak leaves out of it. My leaf sniffer app, is that a thing?
A leaf
My
sniffer?
leaf sniffer app actually recognised it as oak.
Ah,
or
okay.
app voice, great success. Great success!
Excellent. I see. So it's just one of these little apps then. You take a picture of a leaf and it tells you what it is.
I think so, yeah.
And you recognise your leaf as an well done. Excellent.
That's cool, isn't it?
Yes, I love that. Well done.
Christine made angels from freeform cabs and folded copper wings. Some
Nice.
say they look more like bats though. Send me your pictures of your crimbo deckies, your homemade. Remember your
Yes.
handmade crimbo deckies, because we had this last year, didn't we?
Christmas deckies,
And
yes.
yeah, because I started making a bauble cover, didn't I? With
You did beads. You did some bead work.
because I find it frustrating and relaxing. I should like stop when I get to a point, but I can't. I just try and finish things, and then you're tired, and that's just when you should
You've had
stop
it
really
then.
for another day. And I thought I would have a tree full of beaded bauble covers. I didn't finish one because it was a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. Anyway, so yeah, I'd love to see your photos of handmade crimbo deckies, please.
Oh, one thing that I do have to say actually before we go any further is, fingers crossed, this week is the week that our website will be transformed into the latest generation. It's been about a year in the planning. It's been a lot of hard work. So this week the site might be down for a day or two whilst we transfer everything across, update everything and make sure that everything is hunky-dory. So we will notify you in good time. I know they were doing final tests today. We'll find out tomorrow if it is going to be this week, and we will send out an email to all members, paid and freebie, to let you know what the situation is. Just thought I'd get that in.
I'm just going into cold sweats every time I think about it.
But
it's a brown paper bag.
But in theory, all the technical side of things will be Steve's to sort out.
I've got an advert on here.
Have you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
What's happened?
I did alter it in the sense of, I said, let YouTube choose when to put adverts in.
You need to say don't have adverts.
But
then.
I didn't realise he was putting adverts in the
word there
live.
before.
The adverts you can't now. You've started, so I can't finish. So I thought it put the adverts in once it's been
You've
live.
been tricked into putting adverts in, you Wally.
Excuse me. Yes.
Sorry, I do apologise, and we'll get rid of them by next week. Sorry.
Yes.
2 more ads. How many ads have we had in total in like the 10 minutes that we've been on?
That's naughty. That's a YouTube being naughty.
That's two adverts in 10 minutes is too many adverts.
It's too many adverts because you're going to miss an awful lot, aren't you?
Does it pause?
I don't know.
And carry on, or does the advert run over you?
We're going to make sure that is not ticked for
Let
next
me know.
time. Many apologies.
More ads.
Sincere apologies.
Oh, I missed the last comments. More ads. Can we stop and come back on without the ads? That's going to be super annoying.
Can't.
Okay, I'm sorry. We'll make sure that this is fixed
for next time.
Next week. I do apologise. That's
yes. I didn't realise that YouTube would put the ads in a live stream. I think that's a stupid idea. It should have put the ads in it when it's been rendered, which is what it used to.
Well, if the ads weren't there before, then they shouldn't be.
But I ticked a box saying let YouTube choose when to put adverts in, thinking it would put the adverts in.
Maybe don't tick any more boxes, Andrew.
When it's been rendered, when it's not live, but to put adverts in when it's live, how stupid is that? So I'll be.
David said I just had an ad, then it dropped me out to another film, and it runs over the content.
Okay, well, make sure that isn't going to happen. We can always watch this back on replay.
Gabby's got an ad blocker. Sorry to interrupt you again, Andrew. I'm as bad as the adverts, aren't I? Gabby's got an ad blocker, so she doesn't see any ads.
Good.
Yeah, that's cool.
Excellent.
But yeah,
we'll fix that for next time.
That's annoying.
Sorry.
Yeah, you should be.
Go on.
Let's have another question.
Crack on with the question.
Turn on ad blocker. Yeah, well, thank you. Okay, good. You must have the ad blocker on then. Cool. Okay.
What ad blocker have you got? Let us know what ad blocker you use.
Yeah,
is it free or is it paid for? Please let us know. Pop in the comments. Would love to know. Yes, Louise.
Okay. Joe is saying, what are your thoughts on hallmarking silver if under the 7.78 grams in the UK? Would you hallmark everything or just higher end items, perhaps over £50?
Yeah, now this is the problem. Hallmarking adds a massive chunk to your manufacturing costs. Whether you just pass on that cost or whether you use it in your process of working out the price and you multiply it, whatever you want to do. I feel that if it is under 7.78, personally, I feel that it is unnecessary. You don't legally have to do it, and it does add quite a bit on top of a piece of silver. Yes. If you are being commissioned to make something by clients, I would then have it hallmarked, because the client is paying for it and you know that money is being paid up front. But if you're just producing stock for a craft store, I would not have it done.
Because you can stamp it, can't you, with your own stamp? You can stamp it 925 yourself, and that's...
Stamp it 925, not a problem.
Really, isn't it?
And I think you would save, you're going to save at least £3 or £4 per piece by not having the hallmark on it. As nice as it is, but you've got to pass that cost on to the client. And if it's silver and it may only be selling for £15, suddenly you have to charge £20 for it, because it's hallmarked. And I think that's going to add a massive chunk. But if you're having it commissioned, someone's commissioning you, definitely get the customer then to pay for it. That would be my sort of, what do you think, Lou?
Yeah, we don't mark up hallmarking either, do we? Because if you're pricing your items into 7.78 grams, obviously no hallmarking charge, and then suddenly if it tips over into 8 grams, you're adding the hallmarking cost and marking up that hallmarking cost. Your pricing's not consistent, is it?
Yeah.
It's just a massive jump. So
it's
tricky, isn't it? I think it's just like everyone's got their own way of doing it, but
yeah, and I wouldn't want to. And those people do say add the hallmarking and then times it for wholesale and times it for retail. I think if you can get away with it, yes. But I feel that if you add, say, £4 on a pair of earrings, for instance, and that's just what it costs. But if you're marking things up by 3, you've got to add £12 onto it, and then the price is going up and then up an awful lot. It goes into
silly realms then, doesn't it?
So personally, if you're commissioned, get the client to pay for it. If you're selling it in a craft or in a gallery, I wouldn't.
I think do some market research. Maybe ask your customer if they care whether it's hallmarked.
Yeah.
Obviously, it has to be if it's above the threshold, the 7.78 grams threshold. But you see some people put all the available marks on.
Yes.
Does your customer care?
Yeah.
Do they care if it's got?
Everything.
I mean, it's nice to have the year, isn't it? It's nice to have the extra marks, but they're not necessary.
Yeah, I would always try and get a year, because I always feel that in 100 years' time, someone's looking at your piece, they're going to want to know what year it was done. And that's
it really helps out valuers and because you can date a piece. But, you've got an idea of when it was hallmarked, I suppose, is all you can say.
But to have a gimmicky mark, or to have, say, the NHS mark, as nice as good that was, I feel that would be unnecessary, because it adds cost and then more cost and then more cost as well. I'm going to sneeze again in a minute, so I have to pass you back.
Okay. Yeah, that's not terribly helpful, Joe, is it? Because we've just kind of come back round in a circle of... Well, no, I know, but we didn't give a definitive answer, did we? But
I did.
Did you?
I said if client's paying for it, yes.
Yeah.
If a client isn't paying for it, no.
Yeah. Do they care whether it's hallmarked? I suppose we come back to the same thing.
That would be my argument,
okay,
yes.
Well done, Andrew. Okay.
Thank you.
Good.
Was your laptop not working?
It's the chat's gone all funny, and I think it's just, I don't know, the adverts, and I don't know, it's just not.
Okay.
Gillian, I'm thinking of buying a hammer hand piece to go with my Fordham. Which do you suggest is best to get, and why? Any extra things I will need?
You may need some various different shaped anvils to go into the ends, so you can shape them, perhaps rounded like a ball, so you can do nice sort of dents in things. You can get them that are long and narrow, round the edges off so they don't mark. You can get square punches. So the anvils, I would get 3 or 4 different shapes. The Fordham hammer handpiece is the best general purpose one. Again, I don't have my hammer handpieces up here. I was given a Bedico, and if I had a choice between the Fordham and the Bedico, however you say it, tomato, Bedico, I personally would go for the Bedico, because it is a lot thinner, it's a lot easier to use, and I feel the action is better, but it costs twice the price of a Fordham. So the Fordham hammer handpiece is my go-to for hammer handpieces. So buy that, make sure you get the right fitting that goes on the end, make sure it's the right slip joint or whatever, the little one with the little flag that fits out, so to speak. Make sure you get the right fitting. Double check the pictures on the website of the type of flex shaft you've got, and make sure it's the right one. And then grab yourself 3, 4 different shaped anvil heads that simply screw in. And that's what I used on, I used it on the weekend, didn't I? Yeah, yes, that's what I would use, the Fordham one, definitely. It's the cheapest out there.
Good.
There aren't that many manufacturers of them, but those are the 2 that I know. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for the compliments on my hair. Thank you all. Tell you what we did the other week, which is I put my earring back in my tragus.
Oh yes, you did. Yes.
And I was looking for one, wasn't I, to buy?
Oh, yes.
And all of the sites basically kept seeing the same thing. It was just basically an open, heavy jump ring, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Well, would you call it that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jumping, yeah.
Which you have to buy a special tool to close. I don't know what that tool was. Perhaps we should find out, actually. And that's all it was...
Simple, silver. Was it silver?
Yeah.
It was £16.
Yeah, and you literally just crimp it shut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Disgusting price.
Yeah. It just, I don't know, it just might be something if we can find out what the tool was. That we have to buy the tool as well to close it, which obviously we didn't need because,
Because Louise said, look in your drawer. So I went in the drawer. I found a jump ring. I used a cut burr on the end to round them off. Twist it like you normally do. Put it through. Twisted it back. Saved herself 16 quid.
Yeah, it was just, silly price for a silver jump ring.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Oh no, the ads are being a right pain in the proverbial. Sorry. Louise, I may have missed this info, but any info on easy identification of lap grown? Not really, no, not without equipment, to my knowledge. And there equipment varies widely between being pretty reliable and quite unreliable, depending on what you go for.
We had two to play around with the trade show, didn't we?
Yes, because we looked at one that works by heat. Was it heat? No, the lab grown, that was for the diamond testers work by thermal and electrical conductivity, and the lab grown diamond detectors work by UV light absorption, and they're not all equal anyway. So I'm still doing some work on this and researching. I'm going on a course, but the person who knows everything about it is Julia Griffiths of the GEM Academy. She runs courses. I think they're mainly in London, and I'm due to go on one in the new year now. So if you need, I know it doesn't really help you, Susan, because you're not in the UK, but she's the lady who has basically all the knowledge and all the info on that and can advise on equipment and techniques.
Yeah.
But I've got to go on the course before I can. But we met her at the show and she's an absolute sweetheart. So if you get the chance, it's definitely worth going on because we need to know, don't we? We need to get on the ball with this because if you don't, then
Mossonites were easy to distinguish.
I'm quite good at spotting Mossonites.
Yes. But now the lab diamonds, they're just so good. And now
you can't. I don't think there's a way. There's not an easy way, is there? You can't.
No, you can't tell with the human eye, can you? So it's got to be done by equipment. Yeah.
Yeah. So not really, Susan. Sorry. Okay.
Cool.
This chat is jumping all over the place now, so I think it's the naughty adverts. I'm sorry if I've missed any. I'm sorry if I missed any questions. Okay, Norm is saying, does a tumbler with shot actually work harden metal? Wondering if it would strengthen my silver chainmail.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. It doesn't work harden the silver at all. There's not enough of a burnishing effect from the shot. It does harden a microscopic layer on the surface because the shot is coming round and it is touching. Basically, how big is your tumbler? It's like this big, and how far does that shot drop? This much. And if that shot is in water or whatever, there's not enough of an impact on the metal to work harden it. All it does is burnish the surface. So no, it does not work harden despite contrary beliefs, because it was in the, oh my gosh me, what's that, symposium that I think Rio Grande do. There's a paper written by somebody who did a test on it, and yes, it does work harden a microscopic layer, but there is no advantage there. You will not work harden anything if you put it into a tumbler. It's just not enough of an action to work harden. So, afraid not. I'm awfully sorry.
Yes. Scrap is saying, I've decided to buy a Durston rolling mill with your code. Woohoo!
Hey.
I've not decided yet which type to buy.
Okay.
I've done mostly wire rolling up to now, and almost all types have square wire rolls.
Yes.
I think I remember you recommending a minimum width because of texture plates. Is a DRM C100RE okay for those plates? Shipping a C100RE from Durston BE warehouse is $22, but a 130 is $156.
That's a bit unusual, isn't it?
It's like a difference.
I would go for a 130 because it gives you that little bit of the extra width. Where's scrap in America?
I think so, yeah.
There is not that much difference between the machines apart from the width of the main rollers. Matthew has a distribution point in Arizona, so in theory there should be no difference in shipping unless one is in Arizona and one is in the UK and they have to ship that particular one all the way to you. So perhaps contact Matthew or I'm going to sneeze again, or contact the Arizona or contact the Arizona depot and ask them why there is that much of a difference. Netherlands. If you're in the Netherlands, okay, so he has a warehouse in the Netherlands. He has it in the Netherlands, yeah. So contact the Netherlands distribution point and find out, because there should not be that much of a difference. Get the 130. It just gives you that extra width, because don't forget, I'm looking at the mill by the side of me here. The V grooves will take up about half of 100. And they don't have much then, even if you don't use texture plates and you want to roll, say, a width of a ring shank, you do not have that width. So the 130, I think personally, would be the minimum that I would use. But contact the Netherlands distribution warehouse and ask them why there is that much of a difference. Because weight-wise, there shouldn't be. No. There shouldn't be hardly anything at all. No.
Okay.
Yes.
Cosmin is saying, for investment casting, when using solid flasks as opposed to perforated flasks, are there any limitations or drawbacks?
I presume you're doing vacuum casting. I have always used perforated because your flask is that shape, and it does have a little bit of a lip, doesn't it, up on the top like that there? Does it? It does, yes, and that then fits into your chamber with a vacuum. If you have a solid flask, you've only got this much of your investment exposed to draw down. So it would suck, and it would only suck from the bottom. So if you have your tree, your sprue tree coming down here, and you have the rings coming out, yeah, and the rings are coming out this way, and the ring is by here, effectively it's just pulling it down in this direction, isn't it? Yeah. But if you had a perforated flask, and there are holes on the sides, I'll just do a couple of holes by there, the suction is being drawn out through those as well. So in effect, the gold is not being sucked down, it's being sucked down and also out through those holes. So I personally would always have perforated flasks because the investment shows through the holes, and that is where the suction is going to take place. All your rings or whatever it is on here is going to be drawn out, and it's going to be drawn into the mould as opposed to downwards and relying then upon gravity, so to speak, going into the mould. So I would always favour perforated. Yes, Louise.
Okay. D-Fin Jewellery is saying, any tips on soldering, fusing tiny jump rings on a tiny 6mm pendant? Lots of jump rings being massacred here. I only have a little black torch, but any tips would be great. I don't usually fuse, and fusing would only really work if it was, say, fine silver. It is all about the positioning of your
flame in relation to the links. 6mm, small, but easily done. So you have your soldering block, okay, like this. If you're, is it soldering a chain then?
It was tiny jump rings on a tiny 6mm pendant.
Okay, so are you soldering the jump rings, or are you soldering the jump rings onto something else? Because if you were simply soldering your jump rings, you would have your jump ring here with the join at there, okay, lying down on your block, and there's your join there, okay. Then if you're making a chain, and the rest of your chain links would be down here, okay, if that makes any sense there. So when you bring your torch in this direction now, you can bring the flame up here and then bring your flame down towards the join. So none of these links down here are going to melt, okay, and likewise over here. If you had this setup, and a lot of people will say this, you do it the other way around. So if you had your setup with the link here and the join here, the link here and the join there, when you bring your flame into here, your flame carries on. The flame doesn't stop at this point.
Soldering the jump rings onto the double tiny pendant to hang onto the chain. Yeah.
Okay. So yes, so this jump ring now over here will overheat because the flame is hitting the block and carrying on, and it melts. Okay. So if now you've got say a blob, okay, and then you're soldering a jump ring on the top of here, your jump ring is round. You have to increase the contact area between that jump ring and your blob. So what you would do, you would file a flat across your jump ring, and the join would be down there. Right, you've now increased the surface area of your jump ring. Depending now on the size of your blob, okay, let me just put that in the middle. So this is my blob, I'm soldering that jump ring onto. Now remember what I just said about the direction of your torch. When you bring your torch down onto the block, the flame carries on. It just carries on going, okay? It may stop here, but the heat carries on. So over this area over here is going to get quite hot. So if this was a blob, and this blob had a huge mass compared to the jump ring, I would now put the jump ring down here, okay? There's the join. So when the torch comes along, it heats up this mass first of all, and providing your jump ring is in contact with your mass, with the pendant, with the blob, the heat will be transferred from the blob onto the jump ring. That is the way I would do it. Plus, also what I would do, first of all, is when you've got your jump ring and you made the flat and you've got the join by here, sweat solder a little bit of solder onto that edge there. So when you put your blob, in position by here, here's your jump ring, and here's the join here. When you put that blob in connection with, it's touching your jump ring here, when this blob gets to the right temperature, the heat will pass from the blob. Because the jump ring is now touching the blob, this area will get hot, the jump ring will get to the right temperature. So the flame does not go on that jump ring at all. There is no need to do it because there's enough heat being transferred from your blob to the jump ring. So there's no heat on the jump ring. Providing you flux this area here, you've got the solder on the jump ring here. All that is in contact. So here's
loose jump ring through holes on a pendant.
Okay, so here's your blob. Okay, that is in contact with your blob. That solder will melt at the right temperature. When the blob is the right temperature, the jump ring will be the right temperature because it's touching, and that solder now will melt. So that is the way that I would do that. So now you're trying to attach. You've got your pendant, you've got your jump rings attached to your pendant, and now you're looking at joining your chain onto your pendant. Exactly the same way as what I just said earlier. There's your charcoal block, your pendant's by here, the the one jump ring is on the top by here, and you want to join a chain to it. So the chain now would be coming away from the join, which is by here. Okay, so the flame comes in this direction. Okay, bring the flame close, and then when all this here gets the right temperature, the solder will melt by there. You don't want to put the chain over in the path of the flame. Keep the flame away from the chain. And that's the best sort of advice that I can give you when it comes to that. Thank you, Louise.
Good. I might have fixed the ad problem. I don't
Oh, well done.
know.
What'd you do?
I just don't really know. I just did something. I went to edit and I did something and
Oh, well done.
fingers
Cool.
crossed, yeah. But I don't know. I don't know if I've done something. Sorry.
Time to drink.
Mandy is saying, I'm struggling to get the solder to flow when putting a bezel on a 0.3mm back plate.
Yep.
Borax and silver solder. I'm using a small hand torch. Do I need more heat, more powerful torch maybe?
How big is the bezel? That's the main thing. But you should be okay. The small little torches here are surprisingly powerful. It just depends on how you're doing it. What you may want to do is get yourself some little trivets like this. Okay, or if you've got some titanium strips, you can get your titanium strips. Let's see what else I got. Here we go, some more titanium strips there. And pretending now that this is the back of my bezel. What you can do with this, because you've got the piece of metal raised off the base, you can now direct your torch underneath and get the heat to underneath the bezel. If you've got some titanium strips, you can put the piece on top of your titanium strips and you can get the heat underneath the bezel. And by putting the heat under the bezel, not under the bezel, under the back plate, and because you're putting the heat under the back plate, there's no chance of you melting the bezel that is on top of the back plate. And again, as I went through that demonstration there about the heat being transferred, if two metals are touching, heat will be transferred back and forth. So the hotter part will be heated up, that's the base. The heat then will be transferred through to the bezel, and then it should all solder. So that is the way that I would do it. Or bring the torch and heat up around the outside of the bezel, the back plate, or heat the middle of the back plate, and try not to put the heat upon the bezel itself because the bezel is likely to melt. So always try and heat up the biggest mass first. The fine bezel is on the back plate. The fine bezel is going to heat up because it's in contact with the back plate. Heat the back plate up and everything should all be hunky-dory and it should solder. Okay. Yes, thank you, Louise.
Francesco is saying, I have a problem with sawing straight. Should I get a bigger blade with less and bigger teeth?
So you have a piece of the thickness of a piece of metal, yeah, and you've got your saw blades that does that. Yeah, that's your saw blade. Okay. Direction teeth pointing down, Louise. Cuts the metal.
Yes.
Thank you.
I know that now.
They say you should have at least 3 teeth in contact with the metal. Helps you. I personally don't bother. I'm lazy. I just use one blade, 3-stroke O, and it doesn't matter if I have 3 teeth in contact, 2 teeth, or 10 teeth in contact. I just usually use a 3-stroke O. Can I just lazy? I don't want to change over. I got to buy more blades. So what I'd be inclined to do, if you're going to be piercing straight lines, angle the saw at an angle, okay? So there's your saw blade. Here's your frame coming round, okay? Angle the saw forwards, and that's my frame there.
So what's that, about 45 degrees?
Yeah, 60 degrees, 45 degrees. And you're going to find that because this is leading the edge, this is trailing behind, you'll find that you should be able to cut. And because now, my metal is a bit thinner, and now, when you think you're cutting, cut, now you've got all this metal in contact with the blade. Yeah, effectively. because you're cutting at that angle, that angle, that angle. So there's a lot more blade in contact with the metal. If you were cutting upright, you've only got this much. So by cutting at 45 degrees, you've effectively got half the thickness of metal again, okay, which is going to help you cut straight. Angle the blade forward, you'll be able to cut far straighter than if you just had it completely vertical. But it does depend on the thickness of metal. If you're trying to cut, let's say, a 6mm thick piece, yes, I would go for a slightly thicker blade. But we cut down to about 0.3mm, angle the blade, because now, if there was only 2 teeth, yeah, if this is my blade, okay, and if I cut downwards, I've only got 2 teeth in contact with the metal. But if I'm cutting at an angle this way, I now have at least 3 teeth in contact with the metal, and that will help you saw a lot easier. So saw at a 45-degree angle. Yes, Lou?
Could it be tension of the blade as well?
Yep, your tension of the blade's got to have a nice ping about it as well.
It's got a ring, it's got a ping and not twang, isn't it?
It's very good. I like that. I like that. Remember that from my book. Don't forget, your blade has to ping, not twang. Dedicated to Louise Berry. Yes, if the tension isn't there, the blade, as you push forward, the blade is going to slightly sort of crumple and bend, and that will then lead to not straights, but nice.
Just can't control
ping.
It.
You know, so this is a blade. You put it in. You may think, oh, that's nicely tensioned, but you go.
See that twang? That's a twang.
That's
to
it.
Yeah.
All right. But you put a bit of effort into it, and now. Yeah?
Yeah. That's a clear ring, isn't it?
It is a clear ring, yeah.
Yeah.
So there you go. So that's what I would do. Based upon Louise's advice. Nice, tight blade. Yes, Lou?
Good. Okay. April is saying, I have watched repeatedly your video on attaching a bail to a spherical piece. However, I'm struggling to attach a bail to a solid piece of Argentium silver.
Ooh, I don't have much experience soldering. I got no experience with
All
soldering.
we can say is good luck.
Argentium, because I've never had the need to use it, so I don't use it. The only thing that I can think of would be to do it in the same way as I demonstrated earlier, heat up the main piece to solder it. I don't have any experience with Argentium, unfortunately. I've never ever used it. But I've personally had no need to buy it or to use it. So I can't offer any advice, but if it is purely the soldering aspect of it, whether it's Argentium or not, it would be the relation of heat between the 2 pieces. Your jumprings are small, your pendants are big. This big pendant is going to need more heat than a small little jumpring. Jumpring's in contact with that pendant. The flame doesn't touch the pendant. The flame doesn't touch the jumpring at all. The flame is on the pendant heats up, the heat transfers through to the jumpring. If you've sweat soldered your solder onto your jumpring beforehand, they'll all get to the same temperature at the right time, and that solder then will flow equally between the jumpring and the pendant because they are the same heat. It may not be that way when it comes to Argentium, but I don't know, I'm afraid. But that would be my advice. Try it that way. Yes, darling.
Good. Kush is saying, I make sand moulds for pouring silver out of my garage with no real tools. If I wanted to get into basic gem setting, what would be the 3 most useful bench tools, assuming no budget restrictions?
No budget. So definitely get yourself...
No budget restrictions, not no budget.
So anything then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
So yeah, so anything. Okay, so first of all, buy yourself, oh shoot, you knocked that flying. Get yourself, oh hell. Get yourself a Benchmate, which is one of these. This is from GRS, okay, you can see that. I've got a dovetail plate in front of me that's stuck. Go. Dovetail plate in front of me, over the shoulder. Can you see that? Not quite. Let's widen up that camera so you can see what I'm doing. There we go. So here is my little dovetail plate. My benchmate goes into place like that, and now any ring I can put in the little holder there. Okay, and now when that gets tightened, I've got 2 hands free. So that hand can control a flex shaft, which is definitely what I would get as well, because with this you can put your burrs in, you can put the drills in, so that's going to be something amazing. Now you've got a hand free. You can use this hand now for perhaps aligning up the drill, aligning the burr, or even just moving this around, because now you've got complete access all the way around this. I can loosen that off a little bit more, like that there, like that there. So the Encore QC, or the traditional Benchmate as we got here, is something that I would definitely have. It's got a little sort of armrest here that you can put your hand on as well, and that will really help. So it's not that expensive. I know these are about £300, but you buy it, you don't have to worry about anything again. Perhaps you're not setting rings, you can get a little platform that goes into the little holder that you can then put pendants in and so forth upon the little top plate. So definitely one of them. Definitely get a Fordham SR flex shaft as well, because you'll be amazed at what that does. And just grab yourself a whole load of burrs. Don't just buy one burr of one particular size. Buy, say, a box of 6 little burrs of one particular size, and you'll be amazed at how your stone setting will be based upon what we got there. So 2 items you definitely need: Benchmate, flex shaft, a load of burrs, perhaps a small tiny little micro burnisher if you want to do some flush setting, or if you want to raise some grains of metal that goes over the stone. Perhaps get yourself 2 or 3 gravers, and they can be simple square section gravers, so V gravers, or some onglettes or spit sticks, but they're really, really cheap. So definitely Benchmate, definitely the flex shaft.
Good.
Be good. Excellent. Love to see what you do.
Gillian is saying, is it compatible with the Fordham? I think you said quick release. This is the hammer hand piece to go with the Fordham. Yes,
so there are 2 different types of fittings on a flex shaft. I think it's EU and Continental. Are they the same things? Not quite sure. But double check on your fitting. Slip joints is one of them, and EU, I think, or is it Continental? I can't remember. I really can't remember. This one here has a little, almost like a little flag sticking out of it that way, and that will locate in the little slot inside there. But just double check your fittings. Go onto a website, find the flex shaft that you've got, make sure the picture shows the fitting that you've got, and then that'll tell you what it is, whether it be Continental or whether it be a slip joint or whatever, and then make sure then you buy the corresponding handpiece that goes with that. And it should say in the descriptions. And if you get it wrong, send it straight back and get a replacement. Simple as that.
Good. Steve, hiya Steve. When items are hallmarked in the UK, does it just say sterling, or does it say the different sterling alloys? It will say the finesse, won't it? So it'll say 950, 925.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's all it says.
So it'll tell you the silver in parts per thousand.
Tells you the amount of silver in it. Yes.
Yeah. Did I say that right? Yeah. It parts, the parts out of 1,000. Yeah.
Yes. It won't tell you what the other 75 parts are.
No.
Yeah.
The other. Yeah.
75 part out of 1,000. It'll just tell you how much of the gold or how much of the silver is in it. Yes. Absolutely.
Okay. Okay. Oh, this is jumping all over the shop. Sorry, guys. Have we had any more ads since I've had my little fiddle on? I did something. I don't know if it was. See, nobody said we. I don't think any. Here we are. Does it really matter, lab or natural diamonds? Are they the same? Chemically, optically, they're the same. Basically, they're both carbon, aren't they? Arranged in the same way. Carbon atoms arranged in the same way. So basically, what we say to our clients is, we use an ice analogy. So if you grow ice in your freezer, it's exactly the same as the ice that's grown naturally in the Antarctic, Arctic,
I don't know which
snowy
one it is.
places. It's ice, isn't it? It's exactly
Yes,
the same
a
as
glacier.
frozen water.
Yeah.
So that's how we liken it. So essentially, chemically, it's the same mineral, but we can't treat them the same, can we?
No.
We can't sell them the same, certainly. So that's where it gets a bit more difficult, I think.
You wouldn't be able to turn around and go, here's a bit of ice from my freezer, this is from a glacier.
No,
Because
well,
it's
that would
not.
be mis-selling it, obviously,
Mis-selling
but
it.
it's...
So, but it is still ice, but then a glacier is still ice as well. So one has been formed by man,
Yeah, that's the only difference.
and one has been formed by nature.
But we do know that the price of lab-grown diamonds is plummeting, isn't it? And
Yes.
the resale value is plummeting.
Yes.
And nobody really knows what's going to happen.
No.
It's on that trajectory, isn't it? So,
Where's it going to end?
so you can't. That's why you have to sell them as I think, as completely different products, even though they are
Yes.
essentially the same. They're not the same because of those facts, really, because of the market.
But
so
chemically, they are the same.
and that's why we all need to really make sure that we know what we're dealing with, and reputable suppliers, ideally be able to identify them ourselves with the most reliable equipment that we possibly can, because there are people out there who don't care.
Exactly, are scrupulous.
Yeah, and just... And
'Cause
that's the real worry, isn't it?
we watched the film on Netflix, didn't we? And they're actually
Yeah.
saying that some lab diamonds now are getting into parcels of natural.
It's terrifying,
diamonds.
isn't it? Yeah.
Yes.
And that's... I mean, we resell vintage and antique jewellery, and we could have a ring in which is 150 years, well, maybe not 150 years old, maybe a bit more recent, and it could have a round brilliant diamond. But that's not to say somebody's whipped that out and put a lab grown in. Like, I can't assume that it's the same original stone, can I? So,
so you've got to take good care.
it's just, all you can do is do your due diligence, do your research, do your learning, and
it's a minefield.
it really is, isn't it, at the
Scary
moment?
stuff. Scary
Anthony,
stuff.
how do we describe it for sale? Laboratory grown
Diamonds.
yeah.
And to be honest, they're not even grown in a laboratory now.
It's a factory, isn't it,
It's a fac-
essentially? They
it's a
say laboratory. It sounds
factory.
quite...
It's
you
industrial.
can say laboratory grown diamond,
yeah.
but it is a factory, isn't it?
Yeah.
But it's the same with synthetic sapphires. You have to say synthetic, don't you? Lab
Yes.
grown.
Yeah, synthetic
And that's been
sapphires.
the case for a long time, isn't it?
Yes.
So, yes, they are the same, but they're really not the same. They're the same
Chemically.
thing, but we can't sell them the same because that's,
Immoral.
David said, what exactly is a moissanite? Diamond simulant. So, I haven't got my moissanite on today. I've been wearing it all week. But it actually is a bit more diamond than diamond, aren't they? They're
more brilliant.
yeah, they show more fire, so the colours that come off it are more noticeable. If you put like a diamond next to a moissanite, it would you go wow to the moissanite. They do occur naturally, but in tiny, 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 tiny amounts. So the amount of moissanite that occurs naturally is not enough to make jewellery out of it. They're tiny, aren't they? So that's why all moissanites on the market, in the jewellery market, are grown in labs.
Yes.
But they are completely different mineral to diamond.
Yes. So they're not chemically the same. They are completely different.
It's a completely different mineral.
Yes.
Yeah. Moissanite actually has the ability to split light. When a ray of light hits a moissanite, that beam of light splits into two.
Yes.
And that's how you can tell, with a
Double
bit of training and a lot of practice, you can actually see the light split at the back of the stone. So, but that's for another day, isn't it? And for somebody else to teach you. But I can do it now. I'm so proud of myself to be able to do it. And diamond doesn't do it.
Yes.
But obviously, if you've got a lab-grown diamond and a natural diamond, they're going to behave in exactly the same way without very, very specialist equipment.
Yes.
So, that's the...
Tricky.
Yeah, it is tricky, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay. Lab diamond need to come down in price like others. I think they have, haven't they? Because I've got a pair of lab-grown diamond earrings, which were very affordable, weren't they?
They were, within the matter, retail-wise, within the matter of months, about £1,000 was taken off the price due to the drop of the diamond prices, the lab diamond prices. It was actually a crazy amount. Retail £1,000 from 1 month to 2 or 3 months down the road. I just feel sorry for everybody, every diamond dealer who was invested in lab diamonds to start to sell them, because the prices are dropping so much. They cannot drop their prices enough to make their money back. So they're going to be losing money.
Yeah. Oh, Sandra's just asked a good question. Can you please define the word synthetic with regard to gems? In my mind, it means fake or imitation. Is it synonymous with lab grown? Yes. So it is. I know what you mean. It's like synthetic cream, isn't it? It's not cream. It's fakey cream. But in the world of gemstones, the word synthetic basically means it's the same mineral but grown in a laboratory.
Yes.
So when we say synthetic. Like synthetic rubies, there's a number of ways which they synthesize rubies in laboratories, but essentially chemically it's the mineral it's saying that it is. So if suppose it's a piece of green glass pretending to be an emerald, that would be an imitation emerald. It wouldn't be a synthetic emerald because chemically it's just glass and it can't ever be anything else.
It's an imitation. It's imitating.
So it's imitation, it's imitating, or or simulant, yeah, yes. An imitation or simulant, but a synthetic would be chemically the right thing. But
the same mineral.
Yeah, have I explained that okay?
Yes, yeah. Yes, so synthetics are chemically the same, they're just made synthetically.
Yeah, but I do agree it's not, yeah.
But that I think was, very good, yeah. It was a good way of putting it.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
Good, okay. Linda doesn't have a hammer hand piece, but doesn't have a hammer piece. I'll start again. I don't have a hammer hand piece. What kind of hand punch should I be looking for to set thick bezels? It's just the sets of hollow bezel punches that seem to come up when I Google.
You can make your own. Grab yourself have I got one here? Grab yourself a nail. So all you got to do. This is not a nail. This is a bit of steel rod. Grab a nail. Okay, your nail is going to be a lot shorter than that. It's 5 millimeters, 6 millimeters in diameter. All you got to do, you just got to file the end, perhaps until it is slightly rounded. Here we go. So here's your rod. Okay, your nail, your rod. I would file a flat on that side there. Flat on that side there. So now you've got a punch that is something like that. Okay. So that is sort of like that. Yeah. So you file a flat this way as well. So that is the face now. So that is your profile of your nail with a flat. Round the edges off a little bit on the edges here, on the edges there, and that's all you need. Flat end at this end here. When you hit it with a hammer, that is going to shift. As long as you've got a flat edge, but just round those corners a little bit. Yep, so that comes out like that, that comes out like that. There we go. So all you got to do is just do a face that's like that, and that's all you need. And that then you can use to punch. And the reason why you round those edges of the punch a little bit, okay, this is the punch, then you're going to have your bezel. Your bezel is going to be rolling like this, and you punch it in this direction. The reason why you round these corners is the fact that you don't then get marks put on the bezel if you happen to have the punch at a slightly funny angle like that. You're going to get a crease. If you round the edges, you're not going to get marks. So that's all you need. You don't need to buy anything in special. You can buy punches, but just grab an old nail. There's no need to harden it. There's no need to temper it. There's no need to heat it up, put it in acid, in water or oil, anything like that at all. I thought I did have one around here, but I don't. But that's all you need. So don't go buy it. Get a nail from the garden, from the garage, and make your own. Nearly 5 o'clock, Louise. Couple more questions, I think, Madeira.
Susan's saying you could call high quality zircons as fake diamonds if sold as diamonds.
The Sibjo Blue Book says you cannot describe anything as solely as a diamond because you're telling people that that is diamond.
Can we just explain what the Sibjo Blue Book is?
Yes, go on then.
You can do it, seeing as you quoted it.
CIBJO, isn't it? It's the world's reference when it comes to gemstones. It's called the Sibjo Blue Book, and it defines exactly how you should sell gemstones, what you should say and what you shouldn't say. So if you say it's a diamond simulant, yeah.
Where does it become grey though and confusing? Because like Sandra said, I would prefer to call synthesized gemstones lab grown for clarity for my client, and I think that's
a good idea.
That's a good idea because do you remember a while back I kept getting adverts for that company, and I don't want to publicly call them out, but the diamonds was in the title, and it was basically positive. It was something, I don't want to say who they were, but it was basically no, it wasn't that. Yeah, let's say real diamonds.
Yes,
but it wasn't quite that, but that was. And they were just too cheap, weren't they, to be even lab-grown diamonds?
Yes.
And I think I asked them, there was another company, I said, what is and there was a made-up name.
Yes.
And they just fobbed me off, didn't they? But this company, they kept referencing lab-grown stones, and it was, let's call them real diamonds. And I had to go searching in the small print, and they had the chemical formula of the stone in the small print, and it was cubic zirconia.
Yeah.
I mean, that is just blatant misleading, isn't it? That's horrible.
Yes. And they'll turn around and they'll say, but it was there.
It was hidden.
But how
so I'm getting a bit frothy myself now.
But how clear do you have to have it? Yes. And I would say
they were horribly overpriced cubic zirconia.
If you've got to go hunting for what it actually is, well, that is misleading, isn't it?
It's not nice, is it?
So I don't like that.
That's naughty behaviour.
Yes.
Anyway, let's not dwell on that too much. Because
one last question is 5 o'clock.
Okay. Okay. I think I've got rid of the ads. Did I get rid of the ads? I think I did, didn't I?
Cool, well done.
Thanks. Anthony, I made a Byzantine chain but didn't solder the links as I went. Advice on doing it retrospectively. It's for my boss, my long-suffering wife. I've got to get it right then.
Yeah, you don't have to with a Byzantine because there's so many interlocking links. You don't necessarily need to solder them. But if you're starting all over again, I would solder them, and I would do it in the same way as I just explained it earlier on the soldering block. Make sure the rest of the chain is coming towards you and the link that you're soldering is out. So when your flame comes in, your flame is going to touch that one link and will go nowhere near the rest of the chain because it's facing this way. So looking down on top of your soldering block, here's your soldering block, on top of your soldering block, here's your Byzantine chain, or however it goes, like this, and it's going this way. Yeah, and you have the jump ring here. Okay, your flame comes in then at this angle, okay, here. So it's coming through on top of the block like this. The rest of the chain's down here, and this is where your jump ring is here. So the flame is continuing along this way, obviously, but it's not going to melt your Byzantine because it's behind the flame. And that would be the best way to do it. And just use the smallest amount of solder. There'll be no need then to clean up the joints at all, because the smallest amount of solder is all you need. And that's what I would do.
Good.
And that'll please your boss then. Absolutely.
Harper, what was the book called? The CIBJO?
Blue Book.
CIBJO, yeah, Blue Book.
Yes.
If you Google it, it's,
It's free to download. Yeah. So check that out. Good. I think we should leave it at that.
Good. Okay.
So don't forget, At the Bench may be down for a day or so this week when we transfer everything across to the new platform. Looking forward to that. Fingers crossed it'll all be sorted. Do be patient. If you find any links that don't go anywhere, or you get 404s or whatever, and the links don't go to where you expect it, please do get in contact with us. There is going to be a ticket system available. If you want to ask us questions, you need to open a ticket upon the website. It's along the top. It says contact or help, and you can view your tickets or you can submit a ticket. That is going to be the only way that we will reply to you through a ticket system. If you email us, we may get round to them that next day or the day after, but a ticket system is going to be the way we're going to be carrying it on, and we'll be guaranteed of having a reply based upon the ticket system. Yes, in a timely manner.
In a timely manner.
But do have patience if the site is down for a day or so, but we will email everybody just to let you know.
I'm still available as well. If the site's down, you can always contact me, Louisa at andrewberry.co.uk.
Absolutely. I think we'll leave it there.
Good.
So it's a lovely warm evening. I can't wait to get out into that garden, get the washing off the line. Open
Living on the edge.
Living on the edge. Put the wash up this morning, bottle of wine, and let's have a nice meal outside.
Nice.
Excellent. So everyone, enjoy the rest of your week. It's been lovely talking to you. Hope you all enjoyed the embellishments workshop that was last week. That is now live on At The Bench as well. We had a fun time with that. Thank you for Jamina for the shot plates as well. Jamina.co.uk. They are the British company that deal with the shot plates. Yes, Louise.
Can you write the Sib Joe Blue Book on the board there, please? Just so that
I will.
Yeah.
CIBJO Blue. The camera's still on you. I haven't changed it over to me just yet. There. So Sibjo, CIBJO Blue Book.
It's the World Jewellery Confederation.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, so they have, I think they have the Blue Book, they have sort of like one for diamonds, one for rubies, one for sapphires and so forth. But yeah, you can download it. Just Google CIBJO Blue Book and you can download them to your own computer. Good, excellent.
So the Sibjo is Swiss, I think.
It is.
But it's the
Yes,
in English it's World Jewellery Confederation.
Sibjo. So there we go. Excellent. Everyone, enjoy the rest of your week. If you're a member of At The Bench, you'll be receiving an email to let you know when the site's going to be transferred. Hope you like the new site. The layout is a lot better. Fingers crossed, it'll be working.
It was Mandy's first live, yay!
Oh, well done. Congratulations, Mandy. Thank you for joining us.
Welcome.
Do appreciate it. We are sorry about the advert, so I hope Louise has fixed that. I will not be ticking that button again next week, will I? No, Andrew, you will not. So everyone, enjoy the rest of your week. We will see you all very soon. Louise,